Are you finding it hard to let go of any of the events that has happened in your life? Let it be a toxic relationship, a recent breakup, or separation or divorce. I know this feeling is really very harsh and might get bitter if you don't follow a proper way at looking at this event. Before getting into the video, a small disclaimer. These videos are for awareness and should not be taken as an alternative for any ongoing therapy or advice from your therapist. I am a certified counselor and a practitioner into NLP. My entire passion is to help people and make them aware about any of the strategy that would make them more mentally resilient. So now that is out of the way, let's continue with our video. So let's talk about the first strategy. If you're going through a divorce or separation or already into a toxic relationship, the first strategy would be let people be themselves. Logically, if you allow other to be themselves, you get chance to gather an authentic information about who they really are. And you can make an informed decision about what would be their place in your present and future life if at all detachment happens. Emotionally, this kind of approach foster acceptance and it would actually reduce frustration and promote inner peace. Secondly, trying to change others and making certain kind of influential on their behavior would make you more frustrated. Rather, this would give you a chance to focus on yourself and align yourself to your inner values more. The first is start practicing observation. Now, when you start doing observing, instead of being reactive or trying to influence the other person's behavior, just try taking notes and observing their actions. This would give a checklist about is it really a gaslighting person or is it really a person who is invading your boundaries. This is where you would start taking notes. Second, try to reflect on your boundaries. Ask yourself, what are my boundaries in this relationship and am I respecting them? Okay, am I making this particular effort to respect my boundaries when it comes to a person who is being himself or herself? And this would give you a new perspective in being detached from the situation and look at the situation very, very objectively. Let's talk about the next strategy, that is trusting rejection as redirection. Understand, logically, rejection usually closes doors which aren't right for you. It usually starts steering you towards opportunity and possibility which are better match of your potential and aspiration. I know rejection can feel like a personal failure, it can lead to self-doubt and decrease motivation. But if you start reframing your rejection, like writing down the past rejection and identifying the positive outcome, that gives you a redirection towards empowering you to see setback as stepping stones, and that would create a kind of a positivity within that particular rejectional energy. So once you have reframed your rejection, the second step would be practicing mindfulness. Understand, if you are into your present moment, you can be able to dissociate yourself from the feeling of rejection, which is pretty much hurtful, and start asking question to yourself. What is the rejection and what it has teach me about myself and my path? Most of the time, most of the relationship which come under this particular lens would always teach you some of the flaws that are within yourself or some of the value shift that has happened during pursuing the relationship, which feels empty in the long run. Second question that you can ask to yourself is, how can I use this experience to grow stronger and wiser? Most of the time, some of the emotional based relationship usually tend to take or took decision which are more emotional based than value based, which feels good at the first time, but as you progress into the relationship it will start hurting you. And the third question that you can ask yourself is, what new opportunity might be opening up because of this rejection? So this also is an important question that you can ask in order to redirect yourself from any rejection that has happened in past or which is happening right now. Coming to the next strategy, it is called as embracing temporary connection. Every relationship has a start and end. Everything comes with a start date and an expiry date. If you look at the relationship that are meant to be temporary, help you to appreciate their role towards your growth and development. If you see it emotionally, this kind of mindset elevate the pain of letting go. It would encourage a sense of gratitude towards the lesson that you have learned and the personal growth experience has been given to you through these connections. Understand, clinging to a relationship that are no longer beneficial can cause emotional pain and prevent personal growth. Along with this kind of losing that particular connection can also create an anxiety. What can be an applicative method to practice this kind of temporary connection embracement is practicing gratitude. So I would encourage you to maintain a gratitude journal where you can write the positive aspects and lesson learned from these each of the relationship that you have been into or the current relationship that you are into. The second thing that you can do is start self-reflection. Regularly reflect on the purpose and the impact of your current relationship on the current mental state that you're going under. That can be anything like crossing your boundaries, creating anxiety induced environment when you are into a relationship. So you have to be constantly self-reflecting towards how this relationship is impacting. So during self-reflection, ask this question to yourself. What have I learned from this person which has contributed towards my growth? Second question that you can ask is, how has this relation served its purpose in my life? Have this relation taught me to be more more open about my feeling, able to express myself? Has this relationship taught me about setting my own boundaries? Have this relationship taught me about self-care? Have this relationship taught me about how to set my goals and be the better version of myself? And the third question that you can ask yourself, that am I holding on to this connection out of fear or out of genuine mutual benefit? So most of the time, being single is a painful experience, and most of the time we are a social animal, and relationship is a very wonderful or meaningful connection once it is established on common values and common goals. But are you just making it as a priority of not having that difficult feeling? You have to ask those, because once a relationship is guided by fear, it will get converted into anxiety, and anxiety would lead to a depression scenario. Coming to the next strategy, it's about seeing the big picture. Most of the time, whenever we are practicing detachment, it should not be out of just merely that we have a chaotic situation in a relationship. Every relationship goes under a challenging phase or a gray area where patience during those tough times is the only virtue. You often have to realize that challenges often lead to better outcomes. When we see this particular kind of, or we instill this kind of hope, it would reduce anxiety, allow us to trust on each other and the process, and find a comfort in the belief that things will come together in an unforeseen ways. So when you are applying this method, try to visualize. Visualize the potential positive outcome of your current challenges. Let's say you are going through a tough time, you're not able to understand a particular person's behavior, or if you're not able to pinpoint and how this particular person is behaving, visualize a positive outcome. Let's say that that person would come out clean after this particular situation, or it would come and he or she would come and communicate with you, and this relationship would work. Try and set goals. Start setting goals for yourself. Break down your long-term goals into your small-term goals and manage step by step on focusing on them. Let's say that every relationship would have certain kind of goals as we progress into a relationship. It might be opening up a little bit more into a relationship as we progress to our third anniversary of a relationship, or contributing more in terms of time, emotions, and making memories. That can be a kind of a goal setting when you see at the bigger picture of a relationship, rather than just seeing at relationship as a comforting spot or just escaping the loneliness. Whenever you're going through this particular process, you can start asking certain question to yourself, like how might this challenging situation lead to a personal growth or new opportunity within this particular relationship. That is one question that you can ask to yourself. The second question that you can ask is, what are the long term goals that I can focus on to keep perspective during tough times? So usually, your value, that can be one of the long-term goal. Like, I want to have a meaningful relationship, or I want to grow old with this particular person, provided that we are able to share a common goal, a common dream. We are able to respect each other. Those are some kind of long-term value that you can expect from relationship, and that is how you can see the bigger picture. That rather than just focusing on one event, that can be anything, that can be leading to mistrust, that can be leading to a totally canceling each other. So the third question that you can ask is, how can I remain patient and trust the process when things seems chaotic? So you can practice meditation, you can focus on other things that are positive within your relationship. As I told you, that practicing gratitude journal, practicing mindfulness would actually take off your mind out of those particular situation and make you more productive and detached from that situation. Coming to the next strategy, this is called as control the controllables. Why logically it is important? Because when you start focusing on what you can control, you enhance your effectiveness and reduce wasted effort on futile activities like controlling the uncontrollables. Emotionally, also, it promotes a sense of empowerment and reduce stress, because you're controlling what is in your control and scope of control, which are your thoughts, your behavior, your reactions, the way you think, your perception. That all comes into that scope, and it gives you a sense of calmer and more focused mindset. uh, Trying to control everything leads to burnout and most probably frustration. That feeling also gives you a kind of a powerless feeling over uncontrollable situation and can increase your stress and anxiety. So how you can do an applicative method in this? Create a focus list. Create a list of things that you can control and things you cannot. Now, this would give you a good insight in terms of where you have to focus more, so that you can be more effective in those situations of detachment. So it can be your thoughts, your reaction, your mindset, your belief systems, your past traumas, your past learning. All those would be a part of your controllable list. What would be uncontrollable? The way the other person thinks about you, the perception of the other person, the belief, the reaction, the kind of allegation that particular person re, uh, put on you. So all those things comes under uncontrollable. So you don't have to focus on that. You have to focus on what is controllable by you. Second, start doing stress management activities like deep breathing or meditation to stay calm within the situation. Because if you are able to be more mindful, you would be able to make those controllable lists more effective. And when you're doing this activity, start asking question to yourself: what aspect of the situation are within my control? So that would form as a part of your focus list. Then how can I focus my energy on what I can influence rather than what I can't influence? So rather, what are the effective ways? So how I can reframe the situation, how I can reframe my thought, that if I have a negative thought, how I can see what are the positive outcome, how I can visualize more positively, what stress management technique that I can use to remain calm and focused. So you can research certain stress busters or breathing exercise which would help you to be more calmer and more focused in that situation. So these are some of the strategies which you can utilize when you want to practice detachment in any relationship which you feel like is uh, filled with toxic relationship that is there. So these are some of the strategies that you can utilize. This has helped me a lot in my journey of relationship, and definitely it has really set a kind of a mindset which I can vouch on, which has a kind of a more calmer and more effective way of handling situation rather than being reactive to the situations. So I hope these strategy, if you start applying it, and the kind of questions that I've mentioned, if you start asking those questions during your applicable methods and the question that you can ask, these strategy would work wonders for you. So thank you for listening to me. I hope this video would be more effective if you start applying it rather than just listening towards it. So make sure that this video reach to people who are going through this kind of phase of toxic relationship, or even if you want to practice detachment for any past traumas that are there. If you have liked this video, I would request you to subscribe and like this particular video and share with whomever you feel is in need of practicing detachment.